Oh, we got the Red Sox in town today, baby. But I got a couple questions for you first. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. So, I have today's lineup for you. This afternoon, they play the Boston Red Sox. So, we'll get a good chance to see potentially Alex Bregman, Rafael Devers, and, the type of cast we're likely to see during the regular season at its probably close to opening day lineup, like the Yankees is. So, will give us a chance to see how good these guys really are. I think they're drastically improved in the American League, so they're going to be a pretty formidable team. So it'll be a good test for the Yankees. And we got Walker Buehler on the mound for the Red Sox today. So he's 2-0 with a sub-2 ERA. It's spring, but nevertheless, he's off to a good start with the Red Sox. So there's that. Okay. And I'll get that lineup to you in a second. But I have two questions for you first. And by the way, if you're a fan, just make sure, no matter what you do, you subscribe to this channel if you're not. And you turn on your notifications. That way you'll never miss anything, especially when news breaks. Okay. Thank you so much for it. Okay. Those are just one-time clicks, and I'll take care of the rest. Okay. Thank you. Now, with that said, question number one is: Are the Yankees showcasing guys for a trade? Now, I've been talking to a lot of people about this recently, and I'm just names off the list here. You got Andrew Velasquez, Pablo Reyes, Ismael Munguia, Oswaldo Cabrera, Yorbit Vivas, Alex Jackson, TJ Rumfield. I haven't mentioned Oswald Peraza and some of these other guys that are either in the lineup or not in the lineup. So are the Yankees showcasing some guys for trade? Because the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of competition for only a few spots. They haven't yet decided the third base who's going to occupy it, and I still think the Yankees are going to trade for somebody before the season starts. Who, I have no idea, but I'm pretty confident that they're going to add somebody. So it still remains to be seen, which leads me to believe that a couple of these guys are being showcased for a trade. Thankfully, to their benefit, they're playing well. So most of these guys are really, really playing well. So that's an encouraging sign for not only the Yankees, but for the player too. And which is a good thing. But give me your thoughts. Okay, there's guys with positional versatility. Dom Smith is in there. Is he going to make the bench, right? Obviously, Ben Rice, JC Escarra. So there's so many other guys that we don't know whether they're going to make the team. And I am confident in Rice and Escarra, but the other two spots I'm not sure about, honestly. So, and I think it's going to go right down to the wire. So a couple of these guys could occupy these spots for all we know, right? So that's question one. Are the Yankees, again, showcasing guys for trades? I do think, whoever gets cut here or doesn't make the squad, I think it's going to be divvied up into three spots, right? Spot one, you make the team. Spot two, you don't make the team, so you're in AAA. Spot three, you get traded for a need here, whether it be an arm, which they need, and so on. So, and again, it leads me to question number two. Why do so many guys get hurt during spring training? I had these people. I don't understand what the people on X and Twitter. And again, you know how I feel about this. This is not the place you go if you want to become more informed about something. It's not the place for facts. Okay. And to me, it's narrative and talking points central. So, but it is what it is. People go there to reinforce what they like to hear and so on and so forth. Fine. That's cool. But the simple fact is this. I'm coming from a competitive athlete background and a coach of the last 2 decades, and just someone who has a common sense of the human anatomy and exercise physiology. Is pitchers and catchers report they get a week, right? Position players report they get a week. Then they're into games. That's it. And then it's about 6 weeks of games. So you have a short ramp-up period into about 6 weeks of games before the season starts. Okay? So clearly, they're not given enough time in the beginning to adapt to the new stimulus. Okay? Now, they could be doing base training in the offseason, whatever they're doing, plyometrics and weights and strength building for a long season, because they may not do as much of it during the season. I get that. Okay? But when you start pitching, when you start elongating stuff, you're stretching your tendons, you're stretching things that you haven't stretched in a little while. A little bit of more of a ramp up period is probably a wise idea before you start really, really testing it out in a game situation. But for some reason, they have a short ramp up period into a longer period of games. I would be in favor of like a 3 or 4 week, maybe a 4 week ramp up period, because generally it takes about 21 to 28 days for the body to adapt to a change in training. Okay, that's exercise physiology 101. Periodization, it's called. Okay, and when they have that time to adapt, it gives them a little bit more of a transitional period, a little bit better of a transitional period to get into the games. It's not like they're transitioning from games in the spring to games in the season. Games are games. They're already in game situation. So I think it might be a better idea. And I don't work for Major League Baseball. I don't work for these folks. But if it were me, I would give them a longer ramp-up period. Kind of, like NFL training camp, weeks and weeks and weeks before they go into games, right? So, but there's so many people that still tear their ACL, tear their Achilles, and blah, blah, blah during some of these spring drills because some folks aren't ramped up enough. And it's really hard to go from nothing to fast twitch muscle fiber activity, meaning sprinting and doing these lateral movements. I'm a long-time martial artist. I can do all kinds of crazy stuff, but I can bend down and pull every muscle in my back. It just happens. You can turn to the right and tear your ACL. That's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. That's how sometimes fragile the ligaments are in the body. So I'm in favor of a longer ramp-up period, but I want to know what your thoughts are. That's my take on why so many guys get injured in spring training. And obviously, some of them do come in not in good enough shape, and that's on them. But I don't buy the narrative that people are peddling on Twitter, or some people, that they're unprofessional because the pitchers are hurt, or so many pitchers are hurt. They're calling these people unprofessional. No, pitchers do get hurt. It's a violent movement. Extending, throwing your arm in a very violent way 100 times a game. Yeah, you're bound to get hurt. Okay? It just happens. So, but that's just my take. Okay? With that, here's today's lineup. Okay, you got Austin Wells leading off at the dish. Aaron Judge in right field batting second. Cody Bellinger batting third in center field. Jazz Chisholm batting cleanup, second base. Jason Dominguez batting fifth in left field. Anthony Volpe batting sixth in shortstop. Dom Smith batting seventh at first base. JC Escara DHing batting eighth. And Oswald Peraza batting ninth at third base. And on the mound, Max Fried against Walker Buehler. It's going to be a nice little matchup today. Now, of this lineup here, 6 of the 9 guys I think are going to be in the starting lineup. To what order, don't know, but probably something somewhat similar. The bottom 3 guys, Dom Smith, JC Escar, and Oswald Peraza, they're still fighting for roster spots. Okay, and if you're on the bench, that means you're not in the starting lineup. So, who gets the last 3 spots? I have no idea. And this is the frustrating and the more and sometimes the exciting part of baseball too. And Aaron Boone, he acknowledged during on TV that they're meeting with the Brain Trust this week to figure out the best path to have the best lineup here, the best roster, who the best guys to bring up, because they've got to finalize the bench, they've got to finalize the bullpen. Okay, we got some good news yesterday on some of the relievers. Okay, and they've got to finalize the rotation, which has been the more beat up unit of all of them right now. So, but that's where it is right now. Okay, that's the lineup. I'm confident in this Yankees team. Once they put it together, they're going to be a very good team. Just like I'm confident the Red Sox are going to be a very good team. Okay, but I am confident that our Yankees will be okay. Okay, yeah, we're missing Cole for the year. That sucks. But then look at the Dodgers. They missed 2 or 3 guys in their starting rotation. Still won the World Series because their offense carried them. And the Yankees' offense happens to be deeper and better this year. Not as top heavy. We know that Juan Soto left, but that doesn't sink a team. Okay. So the Yankees lineup got longer. They added versatility. They addressed a lot of needs and a lot of deficiencies this offseason. So I've said this recently too. I mean, and I'll keep saying the Yankees look more fundamentally sound. They look more athletic, more hungry, more disciplined at the plate, a little bit more aggressive on the base path. So a lot of areas where they were deficient, They seem to be better at now. So you might not have a second guy with 40 home runs, but you don't need it. Okay, it's fine. I'd rather have 7 or 8 guys with 20 plus home runs all across the lineup, right? Putting the ball in play, stealing bags, driving guys over, and so on. But you give me your take on this. We'll recap it after the game and see what your thoughts are. Let's go Yankees.